Merry meet everyone, welcome back to Midnight Fantasy Creation. Today I wanted to use the polyurethane to make these beautiful, well, they're going to probably be just wall decorations because they're going to be flat. These are originally for cake molds. These are fondant molds so you can decorate cakes, but I'm going to turn them into wall plaques, and I have another one but I don't know where it went to, so I'm doing these two. Now I'm going to do this one in a powder, paint the powder on before I pour the polyurethane in, and this one I want to try seeing if I can paint it with acrylic paint, because I don't remember if the acrylic paint works very well if you paint on top of it after it sets and dry. And this polyurethane that I'm using is from Let's Resin, and it cures white. It's an opaque white after dried, but before you put it in there, it is clear and it is a low viscosity. It also says low odor. I do have a fan going. Probably won't be able to hear it, because if I can hear it when I'm editing, I'm going to take that sound out because I don't need the interference from the fan. But I am not going to put any pigment or anything inside the polyurethane. I do know the powders can work if you paint the mold itself. At least I'm pretty sure from what I remember. I do know certain things can't mix in the polyurethane. I believe it is pigment paste for resin because it counter-reacts with the polyurethane and causes a chemical reaction and will heat up and destroy your molds. I don't remember what other things you can put in it to cause a adverse reaction where you're going to ruin your molds. I don't want to ruin my molds. I do know Michelle from Glitz and Glitter already did an experiment on one of her molds, and she ruined her mold, and I don't want to do that. So I will definitely link that video in the description. Sorry, there is something in there. Because I am not going to purposely destroy a mold to show you what not to put in your polyurethane. So please not willingly destroy one of my molds. If I do it by accident, well, now we both learn. But for now, and it sets in 10 minutes, so this is going to be super fast. I do want to do a video where I do mix some kind of pigment in it. I want to get the clear, so I have more control over the pigment that I want to show up. But because we are doing the polyurethane and it's going to be white, I am using the Intense Chameleon powders from Let's Resin. I already picked out the two colors that I want. I don't want to mix them up from the box, so I want to do gold from this set. And I want to use, because they have two different sets, and I want to use the dark green from this set. And this one is like a dark green with a purple. I think that'd be a really cool color shift for a dragon. Then I want to do the spine in a copper, because I want to try these metallic powders to see how well it shows up. And then I am going to use this white. It's similar to an interference. Actually, Let's Resin has a white, I don't remember the name of the color, in one of their kits. This is not a Let's Resin one, even though it looks like a Let's Resin container. I have no clue where I got this because it's not marked on it. But I don't have the Let's Resin kit with the white in it. But I did a video, it was my very first video, of what the bases would look like behind the powder if you brushed it on, and I like how this stayed pretty much white with a nice iridescent color change. I don't know how well you can see that. It's a little too pink for me. I would have preferred it to be a little more blue or purple, but beggars can't be choosers, and I wanted the moon to stay fairly white for the most part. So I'm going to brush the moon in white. And then the spine, the belly scales that go along the tail and the belly, which you can't see the belly, but you can see a little bit on the tails. And then the wing web I want to do in the gold, which I flipped back around on me, so I'm just going to stick that there, and I'm going to stick this one here. So, I know. So, we're doing the gold in the webbing. I'm going to do the wing itself in that green to match the body as best as I can. So, I do want to do the green first, so that way I can clean up the messes everywhere else. And then after I'm done doing the dragon, I'll do the moon. I got a nice set of brushes at the craft store. Really cheap. I think these are like $1 or $2. I could have also got them on sale, but I don't want to ruin the brushes, so these are specifically I'm going to do for the powders whenever I need to use a powder. So I have a bunch of different sizes to my disposal. Let's see, so for the dragon, I think I'm going to use that for the moon, and we'll do this one for the dragon body. That should be big enough. Now, I did clean this off, but there's still some powder resin attached to it in various areas. Just make sure you clean them as best you can, and the occasional glitter, and of course wear gloves. You don't need gloves for the powder part, but you are going to need it for the urethane portion of the project. I am going to fast forward this to speed this up, so that way you're not listening to me ramble this entire time. Alright, now they don't give you a lot in these little containers, so I'm doing my best not to waste any of it. And I don't have a switching sponge, so I am just going to use my silicone mat over here to clean off the brush, even my glove sometimes. And that does a really good job at cleaning it for the most part, because it does like sticking to the silicone. Now, I am going to clean the areas I need to clean out. So I thought the scales, you could see the difference between the underbelly, or the undertail of the scales and the tail. Now that I'm seeing it, not so much. And I don't want to fight with that. So I am just going to leave that as is. And I am going to clean off the areas that I want to do next. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to do the gold for the horn part. Or wait, are those ears? Those might be his ears. If that's the case, I might just paint those in. And of course, I'm only using the powder out of the cap, because that is really all you need. So I'm using a paper towel to remove any of the extra pigment and whatnot off of my brush. Just be careful you're not ruining what you just did. I think I just did. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? The inside of that wing spine. Hold on. I need a tiny brush. Just want to get the veins from the inside of his wings. Now this is a matte mold, so I'm not worried about ruining the shine. Normally you would have to be more gentle with a shiny mold, because you'll take the shine right out of it, but because these are already matte molds, you do not need to worry about taking any of the shine out of it. Alright. I need another semi-small one. I think this one will do. Again, you don't need a lot out of here, so I am just going to take the color off of the cap and just brush it on. At this point, since you already did the intense powder on the dragon, you can overlap it to make sure you didn't miss any spaces. You don't have any negative spaces for the white polyurethane to shine through, making this look a little more consistent, even if you missed some of one color versus the other. Now this dragon looks like not only does he have a spiky spine, but also a mane as well. I think this copper looks really good with this purple. It's more purple than I was aiming for. I was hoping for more of a green color, but I'm thinking it's looking pretty good with the copper, so I'm not too upset about it. some of this is going to be much easier to paint on after you take it out of the mold, and some of this is going to be very easy to paint on before you pour the mold. Either way, you should be able to get a really good picture. I'm going to do my best to try to knock most of this back into my container, because like I said, they don't give you a lot, and this stuff gets everywhere. It's a very pretty color though. I definitely want to make sure I clean this moon off as best as I can without taking off too much of what I just put on for the dragon part, because I want this moon to look its best. And whatever color you put down first is a color that you are going to notice, especially with this intense mica being the way it is. A little bit is fine. It does add a little bit of an accent to it, but I don't want a lot showing up. An interference powder is another one that'd be really good to put on the moon for something like this, because like I said, the moon I wanted white anyways. I just wanted a little something to give it some iridescence and add some prettiness to it. Now, with this being a matte mold, you may not be able to see it as well. I may try putting a shiny coat over it, depending on how this looks when I take it out. There we have our little dragon on his crescent perch. Just making sure I have all of the edges done. I'm not missing anything. Alrighty. I'm thinking he's looking really cute. I'm going to put this all away. Oh, I don't have a cup to mix this urethane in. Oops. I'm going to go grab a cup for the urethane. And I'm pretty sure this is 1-to-1 ratio by volume or weight. So either or, it does not matter whether you use a measuring cup and measure it by the volume, or a scale and measure it by the weight. It is a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to clean off my mess and then grab a cup. Want to get our videos ad-free, or even get early access to all of our videos? Check out our Patreon account at Midnight Fantasy Creation, where you can get a monthly subscription to get early access and ad-free episodes. Alright, I got my measuring cup and my mixing stick, my silicone mixing stick. Now, I'm pretty sure these aren't more than an ounce or 2. So I'm going to mix 2 ounces of part 1 and then 2 ounces of part 2. And if I have any left extra, I'm just going to pour it in one of my little unicorn molds, because I do want to have a base item that I can hopefully remold in the future when these actually go, because I like using these for my resin crete powders, so you can paint them yourself, but I can't buy any more of these. So once they're gone, they're gone. So I'm going to have to make sure I have a figurine that I can remold for the future. Alright, so make sure your mixing cup is clean. I'm going to set these aside for a second, not too far. And I am going to take these out. And of course, they give you gloves in here. Awesome. So they're going to look clear in your containers, but when they dry, they are going to dry white. And of course, they give you instructions. And this will set in 10 minutes. Please work in a room temperature of 77 degrees. Oh, perfect. It is 70, it's in the 70s today, so this is a perfect day for this. I'm just going to move this up a little bit so I can get this at eye level. Oh, and I haven't even opened these. Oh no, I think I have. These aren't sealed. I'm just going to pour. Oh, I can't see that. You should measure these in 2 separate cups in case you over measure, but I don't have 2 separate cups to measure with because I have them in storage. So I am going to eyeball this as best as I possibly can, and that was over the 2-ounce marker. That was lovely. Now I wish I had a bigger silicone mat on. Hopefully that doesn't ruin my table, or my floors for that matter. Try to get these out of the way, and then I am just going to mix. Try not to mix it too fast. I want to mix it good enough so it's fully mixed, but this does set in 10 minutes, so you don't want to mix it longer than a couple. And it should get hot. It's already getting warm. Make sure you scrape your sides. It doesn't look like I'm getting any bubbles. That's good for now. Let's bring this over here. Well, I did get some bubbles. And pour. My table is also not very level, so I am going to do my best to not over pour this. Which is exactly what I just did. This is already starting to turn white. It's starting to harden, and I didn't get to that piece fast enough. And that is what happens when you do not work fast enough. That is already hard, and I had enough to make a mold, but that's not happening now. And I didn't have time to make sure I got all the little nooks and crannies, so you're going to see how this looks. I gotta throw this out. And hopefully I can sand this down because, yeah. I may or may not re-pour this. Alright, completely hardened in here too. This is going to be fun to clean out. So this did not fully get poured. It is almost cooled down. This is still very hot, so I won't even be able to, ow, and hard. I won't be able to re-pour this until this cools down. It stinks that I wasted all that. I am gonna see how this looks. I may have to re-pour this one. I don't know if I need to re-pour this one. I'm hoping I can sand that mess down. We will see how it looks. If it's just a little cleanup for this one, I'm fine leaving it that way, because I did get it over the edges over here, which I can just pull that off. This is going to need to get cleaned up a little bit, because I wasn't paying attention to the end, but if I need to re-pour this one, I will. They're almost cooled, so give it a few more minutes, because it has been 10 minutes, but... And of course the mess that I made on my mat, that will be easy to clean up. Like I said, I kind of wish I had the bigger silicone mat lying down on my table so I didn't ruin it. I'm hoping I didn't ruin it. It's still warm. It's warm in the deeper parts. It's cooler in the shallow parts. It also took longer for it to cure in the shallow parts. I don't know if you noticed that because it was curing quite fast, but this stayed pretty clear in the corners. In fact, I thought I didn't get this. I could still see it, but I clearly got it. That's gonna be fun. All right. Let's demold this one. Let's see what we're working with. These are fairly thin. You need to be careful with some of the more fragile areas. I didn't get to pour this one in deep enough, minus the point up here, because I didn't get enough in there. In the overpour that I have, that actually came out really cute. Is that a butterfly? A flower? I can't even tell. Okay, anyways. So yeah, I may need to repour this. I'm going to finish letting that cool down because it's still a little bendy. And let's see if I can just clean this off first. Get all that out of the way. Pour anywhere. Alright, that came out fairly easily. And it looks pretty good. I got a little cleanup I missed over here by his ear. And yes, those are his ears. Actually, that almost looks like a horn, but it's his ears. And I should have went up a little bit more with the blue. So that's what I meant by overlapping it. You're going to notice, but you're not going to notice as much as if that were all white. But there's the little baby dragon. I think he looks very cute. Not quite what I was aiming for. I'm going to try cleaning this up because, like I said, this is salvageable. I may need to re-pour this one because this is a little, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to salvage some of these because this looks like it's going to break off. But, so I may have to re-pour that one. And I want to get this while it's still somewhat soft, but not, hopefully, too soft. In fact, I might go grab my scissors real quick. So hopefully I can sand the back of that little nub. Alright, that's as clean as I'm going to get him. I may have to sand the rest of this. You just got to be very careful with these small points. Like that one in the wing, which I might just flip his wing. Oh, I'll leave it for now. I'm going to let this finish curing because, like I said, it's still soft. An X-Acto blade would be really good at getting some of these finite areas. You would have to be extremely careful because of how soft it is. One little slip up and you're going to be cutting yourself. I do like how the matte finish looks. It looks very velvety. This got way more glitter or powder, and I actually like how that looks way better than the rest of this, so I'll have to keep that in mind to load on the powder if I were to do this specific color scheme with the dragon again. But whether or not I'm going to finish it off with a clear coat, a spray, or not, I'm still debating. I still need to see if I can sand that down. But other than that, this came out great, minus my little slip up and the mess that I made. So I'm going to try and re-pour this one. Because that is not going to take long. I'm not going to let you see it set. I might actually pour this off camera because I don't want this video to be too long. Actually, no, I will pour it on camera. I'm just not going to let you watch it here because I don't want the video to be too long, so. I'm only going to do 1 ounce this time. Because that barely took half of that. The only thing I don't like about this is how much of a mess it makes. They need to get a better pour spout. Even a pump would be better. Because I know some of their resin bottles, they have pumps. Stinking hair in here. This is starting to get warm on me already. I am making sure there's no air pockets in my little extra while I have time to take the air out. Because I know air likes to go in these. Let's see. That's already starting to get thick. Just have a little left. Alright, I'm going to let this sit for the 10 minutes. I'm going to try and rotate this so it goes where I want it before it fully cures. This has got a lot of air pockets in it. Anyways, I'm going to let that sit. I'll be back in 10 minutes when that's ready to demold. Alright, we are back, and it has been definitely long enough to demold this. They're fairly cooled off. This has gotten harder, which is nice, but still soft enough where I can probably break off the extra pieces, but as you can see, it's actually harder to do. Again, because of this little piece right here, this is just something just to look at for myself, because, actually, I can probably try painting on this one just to see if the paint will come off, but I want to demold these first. I want to do it with my little extra real quick just to see if this guy has any bubbles anywhere. He's got a little mark right here, and it looks like he had a bubble in the tail, which really stinks. I was hoping I'd push that in well enough, but other than that, this looks pretty good. Oh, there's a bubble in his chin too. These are things that I can probably fill in if I ever want to use him just as a piece to mold in the future. There's really not too many bubbles, just the one that snuck up under his chin and the one on his tail. Everything else looks good, and this is still nice and shiny, even though I use my resin powder in. So, that is good. I'm hoping to get all of my little ones, all of my little molds filled in with a polyurethane as a base. I should have probably left my gloves on because this is all gross. I did spill that. So definitely be aware of your surfaces and whatnot, especially when you take your gloves off. They say not to touch it, uncured polyurethane, with your hands, but oops. Anyways, so I am going to demold this. Again, it's still fairly soft, so be very careful when you take this out of the mold. And because it overlapped in some spots, I may have to do a little trimming, but hopefully not too much. It came out much better. Just a little trimming here and there. Nothing too serious, exception for these spots right here, which I can take care of. Oh, I didn't even realize that was a lamp. Oh, that is so cute. Oh, I forgot my paintbrushes. This spot you definitely have to be very careful with, because this is where the hat and the moon kind of come together. Alright, anyways, so that came out pretty darn cute. And this is going to get harder as it goes. I might need to wipe this down real quick. That is an adorable little... He's more of a little love wizard gnome. This would be great for Valentine's Day. I should have done this on Valentine's Day. But I'm not very good at, like, guessing to film a video and release them on time. And as for anything that was left extra, I just have a tiny piece at the bottom of the cup. Nothing too serious. If I had those little itty bitty molds, which I do have, but they're in storage right now. So my only other issue is I'm still waiting for the office to get windows put in. The landlord has got people coming in for estimates on the siding, which means we should be working on the inside fairly soon, because I think he's just trying to crunch numbers and figure things out. But I gotta move my stuff out of the office real quick, because it needs to get properly insulated before the siding goes up and the windows go in. So now that it's warmer out and we've had some very wonky cold weather lately in spring, we kind of didn't have a legitimate spring, so I haven't worked on anything in the office, but I am hoping now that we've had some very hot weather. We went from being like in the 60s all the way up to the 90s in one day. So yeah, I'm hoping that will be done by the, soon. I'm going to finish letting this cool off now that I'm done rambling. And I'll get the paintbrushes and my little water tray. So I'm going to let that finish cooling off. I might paint this one just in case the paint doesn't work well, because if it doesn't work well, I'm going to try and get polyurethane paint to paint this one. So this one's actually hard enough. So let me just grab my brushes real quick and wash my hands, because I'm slightly sticky now. Want to add more magical creatures to your day? Come check out midnightfantasycreation.com, where you can find all your favorite creatures on clothing, drinkware, house decor, and so much more. I also got this new little tank to clean your brushes off with, and I'm hoping this works good. It does not need batteries, and it's supposed to supply you with fresh water whenever you need to clean your brush. I'm actually kind of excited about this. And these are all my brushes for painting. That should be good enough. Now, I do like my color shift paints. And since this is more Valentine heart related, I think I'm going to stick with the reds, the pinks, the maybe some purples for accents, and of course the white. Where's my color shift? And of course comes with a nice little tray to stick my colors in, which is a little exciting. That is red, purple, and of course I want green. Do I want this dark green? Sure. Want to do a gold? I might do gold. Oh, wizard though. Should I do black? I might have too many colors out, and I want to try to get this out of the way so it's not in my light. I am going to start with the, I'll try this holographic since it's already got a white base. I want to probably put this over the hat so the hearts are holographic, and then maybe put it over here real quick to give some accenting to the hearts, but I might not paint all of them. want to paint this whole thing and find out it's not going to stay. I mean, it's doing good. May need to seal it afterwards. I mean, touch it off, it looks like. I might just let this sit for a day and then scratch at it and see if it comes off. If it doesn't come off, I think I'll paint this one. I think I might actually do a black hat. This is already a lot harder. Like that, bend, but it's way stiffer than it was before, so that's already looking really good. As for this one, that sat just as long, and I just dropped it. So, still fragile, like even the tip of the wing, I was bending it, which I just broke a piece. I was thinking of cutting it, because it almost doesn't look like it's supposed to go that far out, but it is fine. So, I absolutely love how this looks. It's very velvety. Kind of like this way better. Definitely get a better effect than the painted on one. But let this dry tomorrow. I'm going to clean up this mess. Love this thing. This thing is amazing. This is just a scrap piece and I just want to test it out. I don't want to finish it all the way. And then tomorrow, I'm probably going to try sanding this little blob off and see if I accidentally ruin this. So I'll let you know. Well, it'll be tomorrow for me. It won't be tomorrow for you guys. But I'm going to do this tomorrow and see if I can clean some of this off and put the video back on to see, because it's still tacky. It's a very humid day today. And I think it's a very good day to be painting right now because it's not drying the way I need it to. So I will definitely do that. Worst case scenario with the dragon, can just remake it and use that as an example to look at for further applications of powder in the future. Alright, so it's definitely had plenty of time to dry because it's the next day. See, I got this little nail tool. I'm going to see if I can scratch. I did a few hours later scratch at this to see if it came off. I did a little bit on the side, and it's not coming off too easily. I have to really score it to scratch it off. But this came off, and I think it's because of the glitter underneath. And again, that is still coming off, so like this is coming off a little bit harder, so I think it's because of that glitter I put underneath. This would be good for like, cleaning off the surface of a paint you don't want to have on. These bumps on the top would be fine. And then since it is coming off, I am just going to spray this with the clear coat to see if I can seal this in. Because it's the messed up one anyways, that way you can probably paint what you want and then scratch off all the white spots you want white. But other than that, this is staying on for the most part. Like I said, you have to really scratch it to get it to come off. And you're not going to sit here and physically scratch at your items on the wall. But I still would like to have some durability with these pieces so I know they're going to last, because I don't want them to not last. And the longer these sit, the harder they get. Like this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sand the other one because I should have sanded it while it was still soft, because this is going to be very hard. But I'll probably leave a message in the descriptions whether or not I could sand this. But other than that, I think this came out perfect, minus that one little hiccup. And I would probably like doing it this way better, whether or not want a clear coat over it to give it more of that shine. I kind of like the satin look of it, or the velvet look of this. It's very pretty. And this color shift, I think you can see that it's kind of like a blue-purple, but when I have it in different light, you can really see the green. Right now, I can see the green instead of the purple that you guys can see. But I don't think I can get the light quite right where you can see that green, because it's supposed to be a deep green, but it looks very purple on the camera. So that's actually really cool. And then it's got like, from my angle, I can see the purple in the cheek in the corner, and it gives it a really cool shadow effect. So I absolutely love the chameleon powders on these, and the copper chrome came out really good. And then of course the wings, when I see the purple, these are more coppery, but when I see the green, they're more of a gold. So that's also really cool. So I definitely would probably, if I were to do these in the future, would stick with the powders. That way I don't have to deal with the clear coats. But I do, for you guys, want to hit it real quick with a clear coat while it's on this mat. You should not do this indoors. I should go outside, but the weather has been absolutely horrid and wet and humid and gross. It's not as hot today. We've had quite a few rainstorms to cool everything down, and thunderstorms, which was really nice. So first, yesterday was, what did I say, it was 70, I think it was 74, something like that. Today's in the, I think it's in the 60s. I'd have to look. So, and it's like humid and misty, and I'm not going outside because I don't want to, that's not going to cure right if it's out in that humid environment. So I would not recommend to do this in the house. I am going to do a quick little just to give this a clear coat on top, just to see if I can seal some of this color in. So I'm not scratching all this off. Again, because this is a piece that I'm not selling because it didn't come out right. Alright, so, I have the Army Paint Satin Varnish. This I got at a game store for role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons, and they have the figurines for games like that where you can paint, and this is what you're supposed to seal it with. This is a satin finish. I don't know where my Rust-Oleum went to. You're supposed to give this a really good shake and then spray it. And I did shake it while I was in the other room, so it's not all on camera. So, you know, you gotta shake it up real good. And then I am gonna spray it at a distance and just give it a nice light finish. I did shut the fan off, so I do need to turn it back on. But like I said, I don't want the humidity in here, so I'm not actually gonna stay in this room. This is gonna be the end of the video. Oh no, I'm going to let this sit for a while, and then I'm going to check it, and then that's going to be the end of the video. So I'm actually going to go because I don't want to be in here while all the fumes are in here. So I will be back. It needs to set for at least, I think a good set is 24 hours, but I'm going to come in a few hours just to see if that worked well and make sure it's dry and do all that other stuff. All right, I'll be back. All right, so it has been, I want to say 3 to 4 hours since I've sprayed this. And let's see how well. Now, again, you're supposed to let this sit for 24 hours to completely cure. So that didn't do much of a difference. It's still coming off, but that's also the part that had that glitter. This seems to be on here a little bit better, so I think that glitter base is not helping. No matter what I do, this is probably going to come off. Oh, how'd that get there? So I'll have to, in the future, try to find polyurethane paint, and then I'll probably do another video while doing something similar to this. I do want to get some more molds like this. I think these are really cute. Also, so I still need to sand this down, but instead of screwing in a wall bracket, I was thinking of doing command strips, the Velcro ones, because oops, these are extremely lightweight, and you probably can get away with the Velcro ones, so I'm thinking of putting, I still need to sand it down, so I don't want to put it on video, and again, I might do that real quick, but these are the Velcro ones, and you can stick them together, and then if you need to take this off the wall for whatever reason, you can take it off. If you don't want to remove it from the wall, you can leave it like the one strip that it is. So you can stick it on the back of this, and it's going to hide, and then you can remove it from the wall by, there's a, you can pull it off the wall, and then you'll have your strip for the wall, your strip for this, and then you can put it back on whenever you need to, if you want to switch them out, because I want to do several different ones like these, so I'm going to have to buy some more molds. Like I said, I have 3. I got to figure out where one of them went to, and then that way, if you want to change them out, if I get seasonal ones, you can change them out for season, and if you want to remove it altogether, like you need to move, you don't have to worry about putting holes in the wall, screws or whatnot, because that's what this tab is for. You basically pull this tab, and it pulls the sticky backing off of the wall piece, and you'll just have the Velcro. You can just throw that out, and you can buy new command Velcro strips to reattach it to a wall, or if you happen to buy several of them and I do the command strips and you're just going to change them out, like say if I do seasonal ones, like this one would be great for Valentine's Day. And then like, you know, if you want to have like in between holidays for the dragon, if you want to, like I said, I have a crescent goddess one. There are fairy and unicorn ones, like they don't have to have a crescent moon. These just happen to have a crescent moon because I do like my crescent moons, but this would be really good for, like, say, Valentine's Day, and then you can switch it out for another one. You'll have extra strips because I'll be putting the 2 strips on every single one. So if you don't use them all on the wall at the same time, you'll have extra strips if you ever need to change them for whatever reason. So I am going to go outside and see if I can sand this down a little bit to see if it's even possible to sand out, especially after I let this sit too long. But I am going to attach a commando strip if it does work well. If not, I'm probably going to have to make a new one, which would be very sad because this is really cute. But I definitely I can do the mica powders for these for future ones. This one's going to be a pain in the butt to paint with the mica powder because of all the detail. So I'm going to have to figure that out real quick. I'm not doing that on video. And then I don't know if I have any powders that are skin toned. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have brown somewhere. I don't know about peach. I probably have tan too, so it might be tan gnomes. And, you know, don't hold that against me. I've only got whatever color I have available. So if I do these on my eBay, I may leave the skin tones open for suggestion for people. If they want to have a specific skin tone, I can make it to order. So that way I can make sure the skin tone is the proper skin tone you want. But I'll have to think about that. I might even have options for different colors because there are different... You saw the kit with the different intense mica powders, so there's plenty of options. If you want a specific color dragon with specific color fins and wings, I made an option of a few different colors. And then, of course, the moon, I can use an interference. I do want to try the interference to see how well it looks and make sure it is actually coated a little bit more like this. I like the end of this part better. It got a better coating and it looks way better than this. This is a little faint, but I do like how that looks. So is going to be it. Actually, I'm probably going to pause this real quick, go outside and see if I can take this down, and then that's going to be it for the video. So I will be right back. Alright, so I have some good news. It did sand down nice and smooth with almost no effort. It didn't leave too much of a scuff. I do not know what sandpaper grit I have on my sanding tool because it came with this sander itself and I haven't bought new ones for it. My only issue is definitely make sure you have a towel or something to place underneath it while you're sanding, because I had it sitting down on a piece of wood and I was sanding it down to help smooth it out and keep this as level as possible, and it got dirty and I can't remove those little marks. I will find a way to try to clean them off, but unfortunately they got a little dirt got rubbed into it and can't remove it. So yes, it worked great. It can be sanded down. I can clean this off, and no, the rubbing alcohol did not take that dirt off either. Just wipe this real quick. Clean it. So if I wanted to do a command strip, I can place it here and you would be able to hang it on the wall. And you can hang it however you like on the wall. It doesn't have to be straight up and down, but whatever you feel like having it sit however looks good to you. So that way the command strip, it doesn't matter which way this is leaning, you'll be able to place it however you want on the wall. And I think this would be a really good idea. These hold up to, they say, 4 pounds. I don't even think this is an ounce, to be honest. This sucker is so light. So these are definitely going to be really good for this kind of little wall mount. And I may actually just keep this one for myself because I got it dirty and I don't care. But I'll definitely need to make some more of these. I'll take pictures of it and try to clean that off a little bit better to give people options to buy on my Etsy store. So I'm definitely going to want to get to this done along with my pins. And oh my gosh, that reminds me, I want to do another video on the pins, but I want to do it with magnets because someone had mentioned, I was watching on another video, I don't know who mentioned it on their channel, but it was mentioned on somebody else's channel. A watcher had mentioned doing 2 magnets. So for the pins, and that is a brilliant idea, and I have plenty of magnets. And I can do that because I used to have a name badge when I was in school for cosmetology and aesthetics that had my name on it, and it was done with a magnet. And I don't know why I didn't think of that, especially since I already had a pin with magnets to keep them on your clothing. That is a brilliant idea. So see that video in the future. I do have plenty of pins to do, and now that I saw that, I may stick with the magnet ones, but I may have some metal back pins, the traditional pins for people who want to put them on backpacks, not their shirt, to keep them on a little bit more durably, I guess you can say. But so I may do another, or no, I'm definitely doing another pin video in the future to do the magnets on, and I can show you how to make those magnets more permanent, so the magnet doesn't come off of your back instead of gluing it, because glue isn't always the best to keep magnets on things. They tend to fall off. I can make this a magnet, to be honest. So I might actually do this again and turn it into a magnet for a fridge. This would be a very big magnet for a fridge, but you could totally turn these into magnets, and I can show you how to do that. I also have the smaller little molds for flowers and whatnot, and we can do that with magnets as well. And since I wouldn't do that with the powdered resin, but definitely the polymer resin would be great for this. So those are some videos I want to do in the future, hopefully soon. I also have the Patreon up, and you will be seeing ads for those, to commercial for Patreon, and I may add some more ads in for my other stores to give you an idea of what they look like or how they're set up. And if you want to get no ads, you can go to Patreon and pay a monthly subscription. You also will get early access to all the videos a week beforehand. So I already have one done and ready to and released ahead of time, no ads. So if you want to pay a monthly subscription, you get it a week ahead with no ads. So definitely check out my Patreon, and of course it is Midnight Fantasy Creation is the handle. I will have that probably popped up on the screen as well with the other links for my stores and in the descriptions as well. So I'll be adding that. So keep an eye out for that. So that is it for today's video. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. Of course, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the bell. It will let you know when I release new videos. Also, share the videos with loved ones and friends that you like this kind of stuff, is working on this kind of stuff, needs to help figure out if something's going to work. I will try to link the video of the stuff that does not mix well with polyurethane, so you're not ruining your molds, because I'm not showing that on my channel. I don't want to ruin my molds unless I do it completely, utterly by accident, because molds can get very expensive. So I will have that linked as well in the descriptions. And of course, you can check out all my stores. I have an eBay and Etsy and an online store. Etsy is Midnight Fantasy Create, because I couldn't fit creation in it, but all the other ones are Midnight Fantasy Creation. And then of course, you can follow us on all our social media. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, all under Midnight Fantasy Creation. Super easy to remember. The only questionable one to remember would be Etsy, and that's only because they don't give you enough characters to fit the entire name. So I will see you guys in the next video. Merry part until we can merry meet again. Blessed be. Bye.